and welcome. This video is a review of The Grace of Wild Things by Heather Fawcett. This story is a middle grade fairy tale retelling of Anne of Green Gables. It is, at its core, like the Anne of Green Gables books, a story of an orphan girl who just wants to find acceptance and love. She really just wants somebody to want her. If you're a fan of Montgomery and have read the Anne of Green Gables books, and maybe even the Emily of New Moon series, I felt like Grace and this story actually had more in common with the Emily books than with the Anne books. Although it was inspired by Anne of Green Gables, Grace from this book is literally a witch. And between Anne and Emily from the Montgomery books, Emily is a little more witchy than Anne is. I can definitely tell that Heather Fawcett is a fan of Montgomery and has read all those books because I could see little elements from more than just the Anne books. In this book, Grace has a problem, and her problem is her witchcraft. Nobody wants to adopt a witch, especially a witch that has her particular power. So because she can't find anyone who is not a witch who wants her, and after being almost adopted but sent back to the orphanage multiple times, she runs away. She just leaves the orphanage, treks out into the woods looking for the witch who lives in the woods. You know, in all the children's stories, the witch who lives by herself in the woods? The one that kids should be scared of? Grace goes looking for her and tries her hardest to convince this witch to not only keep her and let her live there, but to train her. Now, this witch normally cooks children, so that does put a bit of a damper on their relationship. But they strike a deal, and the deal is this. Before a particular tree blossoms the next time, Grace must learn all 101 spells in the witch's grimoire to prove herself worthy and to prove herself to be a real witch. If she succeeds, she gets what she wants. If she fails, she loses something important to her. This retelling does seem to be set in the same time period as the Anne and Emily books. There's candlelight, cooking on a wood stove, they walk everywhere. So like early 1900s, I think. The one main downside to this book, in my opinion, is that it focuses a lot on the grimoire and her trying to solve the spells. And I felt like the balance of Grace and the relationships versus Grace and the grimoire was a little unbalanced, and more time was spent on the spells than really needed to be. And to be fair, that is kind of the main big difference between the Grace book and the Anne and Emily books. The book it's inspired by, Anne of Green Gables, Anne imagines magic. Grace actually has magic. And so the big main difference between these stories, which is the magic and learning real spells, is what is focused on a little more in The Grace of Wild Things. You know, it was still a good story. It was very cute. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's middle grade, so it should appeal to a younger audience, which it is appropriate for. The book deals with friendship and love. There is an animal companion. There is some deep emotion. There is Grace having to learn that she doesn't have to rely just on herself all the time. She gets to learn that she is a capable girl, someone worthy of friendship and love. And I do recommend this as a cute and cozy story. And no, you do not have to have read Anne of Green Gables or Emily of New Moon to enjoy this book. It stands as a good story on its own. I hope this was a helpful review to you. If you enjoyed this video, I have other book reviews, other bookish content. You can subscribe here for more. You can follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye. There's also bird poetry at the beginning of each chapter. Among the dwellings framed by birds, in field or forest with nice care, is none that with the little wrens in snugness may compare.